low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
Brian Giles from Brian Giles MTG. And hang on one moment while I switch off my light here. You might notice my shirt. Yes, is my shirt brighter than WotC's future? You decide. But you're not here for my shirt. You're here for Brothers War spoilers. So, this is video number 6, the second video of Saturday the 29th. And we might even have a third video, depending on how long this runs. So, first up, we have, I believe this is a reprint, and I think we saw this in no, that was Agonizing Remorse. This is Overwhelming Remorse, which is 1 black and 4 for an instant that reads, this spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature card in your graveyard. Exile target creature or planeswalker. So if you've got a lot of creatures in your graveyard, if you got like a Graveyards Matters deck, which this is in black, and this could be super powerful. Now, Graveyards Matter, Self-Mill, this is an excellent removal spell. And it's instant speed. Next up, we have a callback to a card originally that comes from the Antiquities set and sees kind of an update here in Mishra's Juggernaut. 5 colorless mana for a 5/3 artifact creature Juggernaut. It has Trample, which the original did not. Mishra's Juggernaut attacks each turn, each combat if able, which is what the original Juggernaut did. But this also has Unearth for a red and 5 colorless, which the original did not have. But still, it's a nice callback. It updates it with Trample and Unearth. That is very cool. I think I like this. It gives it more value for the 5 mana casting cost. So I really like this as an artifact. Next up, we have Tokasha's Amulet. For 5 colorless mana, you get a 4/4 artifact creature construct. When Tokasha's Amulet leaves the battlefield, you gain 2 life. And it has Unearth for 1 white and 3 colorless. Now, for those of you who don't know who Tokasha is, she was kind of the adopted mother and teacher of Urza and Mishra. When Urza and Mishra were orphaned, she took them in and began to teach them about archaeology and artifacts. And there's the card one of the cards we just went over, Overwhelming Remorse, has its flavor text says, Tokasha's face haunted his vision. The explosion still rung in his ears. Mishra keeps running and never once looked back. Mishra and Urza, again, were taught by Tokasha. But Tokasha likes Urza's study and because it's not all about the field work that was, the digging in the dirt that was Mishra's thing. And Tokasha kind of was looking to give all of her secrets to Urza, and Mishra became very jealous of that, and basically he murdered her because he was so jealous. And that's why we have that card. So enough about me talking about the cards and the story behind them. But I will, because there's some interesting stuff with the flavor text, including this next card in Yoshin Medic. 1 white and 2 for a 1/4 human cleric soldier with lifelink. Now I like the flavor text on that. Go save as many as you can. The city walls may be rubble, but Krug will live on in its people. And that's Queen Kayla bin Krug, who is the leader of the city of Krug. And she was kind of smitten with Urza, and Urza was her lord protector. And the funny thing here is that this kind of reflects that Krug is a people, not a place. Asgard is a people, not a place, and that's been brought up recently. So just a little Marvel Thor humor there. Next up, we have Bitter Reunion. 1 red and 1 for an enchantment that reads, when Bitter Reunion enters the battlefield, you may discard a card. If you do, draw 2 cards. Or pay 1, sacrifice Bitter Reunion. Creatures you control gain haste until end of turn. So something to give your creatures haste when you need it down the road. And you get the card draw, but that shows that both sides of the equation. The first part is Urza, where you get that card draw. The second part is Mishra with the haste, as I've spoken about in previous videos. Next up is another interesting green card in Argothian Opportunist. For 1 green and 2, you get a 3/2 human scout. When Argothian Opportunist enters the battlefield, create a tapped Power Stone token. And again, you don't. This is you're seeing some artifacts in green, artifact love in green, which you normally don't see, as I've said in my last video. And the flavor text on this really reflects that in nature adapts, so should we. Next up, we have Third Path Savant. 1 blue and 2 for a 2/3 human wizard that has a beefy 7 to draw 2 cards. 7 colorless to draw 2 cards. Next up, we have Stern Lesson. 1 blue and 2 for an instant that reads, draw 2 cards, then discard a card. Create a tapped Power Stone token. Again, this is kind of like the other half of Bitter Reunion. You get the card draw, and then you get the artifact, which is actually good value. But the flavor text on this says it all. The brothers are brilliant, but their quarreling will be the death of me. Tokasha journal entry. So this is something that Tokasha wrote in her journal about dealing with Urza and Mishra. So and truthfully, it sounds a lot like like Obi-Wan Kenobi speaking to Anakin in the second prequel movie. You know, you'll one of these days you're going to be. Why do I have a feeling you'll be the death of me? It was just kind of a prediction by that horror actually became the death of her. So next up we have giant growth, something that calls way back to the day. In 1 green mana for an instant that reads, target creature gets +3/+3 till end of turn. Even back in the day, this was a super powerful card. This still is super valuable. This is part of the so-called 1 for 3. You pay 1 mana and you get 3 of something. So it's nice to see that back in this. Next up, we have Tokasha's Welcome. For 1 white and 2 colorless, you get an enchantment that reads, whenever 1 or more creatures with mana value 3 or less enter the battlefield under your control, this ability, you draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. So more card draw for white, which, there's been a lot of kind of hate in recent past about white not getting any kind of card draw. So we get some card draw here. Fits very well in weenie decks. I like that. Next up, we have another card from the Artifact Archive, another super powerful, super useful reprint, and Mishra's Bauble. For zero mana, you get an artifact, you tap it, sacrifice Mishra's Bauble, look at the top card of target player's library, draw a card at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep. So Mishra's Bauble, I don't know if this will bring down the value of Mishra's Bauble, because Mishra's Bauble holds value a lot. Because it is well played, it is used, and it hasn't been seen in a while. Next up, we have another super powerful, super useful, super sought after artifact in Platinum Angel. This is out of the Artifact Archive. So it's 7 colorless mana for a 4/4 artifact creature angel with flying. You can't lose the game and opponents can't win the game. So with all of the artifact love that we're getting in this deck, reducing the cost of artifacts, creating the power stones, being able to ramp artifacts, and with all the effects of giving your stuff ward abilities and stuff, this thing could actually see more play than you would think. So look out for this card to pop up, and you need to get rid of it quickly, either before it gets on the battlefield or soon after. Next up, we have another very cool, powerful artifact, and this is at a mythic level, but listen to this card. This is Clay Champion. For 4 colorless mana and X colorless mana, you get a 2/2 artifact creature construct. Clay Champion enters the battlefield with 3+1/+1 counters on for each 2 green that's spent to cast it. When Clay Champion enters the battlefield, choose up to 2 other target creatures you control. For each 2 white you spent to cast Clay Champion, put a +1/+1 counter on each of them. So you can pump in as much of green and or white mana as long as it's, in groups of 2 to cast this spell and either make it bigger and or make up to 2 other creatures bigger. So this is super powerful. It's a mythic level. And because it's forecasting cost, you can actually do both triggers initially with 2 green and 2 white, which is scary because that makes this a 5/5, and you've got 2 other creatures with +1/+1 counters on them. So this is scary. This is super, super scary. And when you cast it, you can pump more into it. So I'm not unhappy with this at all. And again, with something like what I refer to as middle-aged Mishra, or not middle-aged, but middle-aged Urza, that gives all your artifacts +2/+2. This thing could be a beast. So look out for this card. It is at mythic level, so it's going to be harder to get your hands on. Next up, we have Kayla's Reconstruction. For 3 white and X, look at the top 7 sorcery that reads, look at the top 7 cards in your library, put up to X artifact and or creature cards with mana value 3 or less from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So this in a weenie deck or a weenie and artifact deck, absolutely, that's fun. Just drop a whole bunch. So next up we have Ashnod Flesh Mechanist. A lot of people were hoping. Well, we knew from some of the if you've seen some of the spoilers that we were hoping we'd see Ashnod. we knew that we were going to see Ashnod, but here is what Ashnod is. Ashnod Flesh Mechanist. For 1 black mana, you get a 1/1 legendary human artificer with Death Touch. Whenever Ashnod Flesh Mechanist attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, create a tapped Power Stone token. And for 5 colorless, exile a creature card from your graveyard. Create a tapped 3/3 colorless zombie artifact creature token. So not only do you get some ramp there, but you can actually reuse the creature that you just sacrificed to create a zombie artifact. So let's double check to see what. There isn't any more right now. It's after 19 minutes. So we're going to end the video here. And there'll probably be more. I don't know if I'll make another video today, but this video, we'll see you on the next one. Have a hoo-ha day.